All right, everybody, welcome to Live from My Drum Room, Live Aid 40th anniversary. I'm honored to be joined by my friends who were there in London and Philadelphia that day on July 13th, 1985. Stan Lynch with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Mickey Curry with Hall & Oates, Mick Jagger and Tina Turner, Andy Newmark, Brian Ferry, Steve White, The Style Council, Graham Lear with Santana, Jeff Simon with George Thorogood and the Destroyers, Dave Ossickinen with the Hooters, Tristan Bowden, Kenny Loggins, and Michael Shreve. This episode was over 2 hours long with endless stories and behind the scenes insights into Live Aid, so I'm presenting it in two parts. So come along for the ride for part two of Live Aid 40th anniversary. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you very much. But when I'm watching that from way 40,000 miles away, is wow, we're actually getting away with it.
Yeah,
Like,
how true. That's so true.
Yep.
Well said. That's really well put.
ship, right? If anything falls apart during a show,
Yeah.
this guy to get the nasty looks is the drummer.
Always.
Right on.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have to make sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I identify with what you just said about
Absolutely.
just being grateful
Yeah.
to get through it.
Yeah.
I just don't want anybody looking at me like you
Oops.
fucked up, Andy.
Yeah, right.
What a terrible way to live, though. What a terrible way to live.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
It's always the drummer.
Attest to that. First time I
It's
saw
always the
Graham
drummer.
Lear was with Gino Vanelli.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best.
That was a killing band, Graham. Right?
Graham.
Well, thank you.
Man, Graham.
Killer
Thank
Graham.
you.
Killer, man.
Was,
Yeah.
was
Graham,
lucky to
how
be able to play.
many years were you with Carlos? How many years did you?
Well, I kind of split it because I moved back to Canada for a couple of years for visa reasons in the 80s, and then came back to them again. So I started in 76, fall of 76, and did the live Moonflower album in Europe, and that came out and did well, and stayed until I guess 80, maybe 82 or 3. I came back to Canada for a couple of years, then went back from 86 to 88 about,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
that was it. So I did a total of about 10 years
Yeah.
in there and played on a lot of stuff, and I was very fortunate, and it was a wonderful time, and actually needed the break. You know, it reminded me a lot. Well, it's like I had an appreciation of what Mike must have gone through in the very early heyday years of the craziness of being so huge with a new band, which I wasn't involved in, and what even the level that I was involved in joining in late '76 and having a little bit of a percentage, a small percentage of success compared to what Michael did with the original band. What that How that took a toll, the traveling, the everything, the pressure. Um, I needed a break in the 80s, and I think probably a lot of the guys here would maybe have gone through things like that in their careers where, it's a lot. It's a lot to process. And everybody does it in their own way. So I did that, and so I did about a total of 10 years, and at the time it was some sort of a record, I think, for the band. I was one of the longest running members at that point.
Oh,
Yeah.
Carl's been there forever, but I remember asking you once at the Ritz in New York City, backstage, I was like, how much is he paying you? And you said, this much and all the abuse I can take.
Wow.
Yeah.
I made a joke. I made a joke like in front of Carlos and Cindy Blackman and his manager, and everybody's like, how can you guys be married and you be the drummer, Cindy? I mean, come on. I'm just trying to work with drummers. Like, tell me what's the secret,
Well, that was the secret. There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the secret.
Yeah. Oh, that's too funny. Well, I'm gonna play something. I'm gonna play some Santana in a second. I know it's getting late in the UK, and I wanted to just sort of go around to Steve and Andy quickly and just ask you guys to share like a memory or something. And you've talked a lot about different things that day, but is there any one thing, Steve White, that stands out from that day? A memory that
I
that you,
think
you hope?
the positivity of what the
Yeah.
whole team were trying to create is, and it's so easy to look back on these events and pick holes and say, look, people are still starving in Africa, and we know that. But if nobody did anything, how much worse would it be?
Yeah.
And people really did, feel it's a wonderful thing that musicians generally are the first people to put their head above the parapet, and say, look, let's do something, let's do something. We don't know what's going to happen. So that for me was positivity. And also the other thing was a gentleman, while I was having a burger backstage, apologising to me because his cigarette smoke was coming into my face, and he was very humble and said, "I'm so sorry, but I'm a bit nervous." And I just turned around and said, "It's okay, Mr. Bowie." Because it was
Wow.
it was David Bowie just stood
Wow.
right next
Oh
right
man.
next to
Wow.
me. So
That's really something.
Yeah.
I,
Oh, it
di-
was
I
nice.
didn't I didn't even play at the show. I was there.
Yeah.
But I didn't play, but I have a good story.
Yeah. I want to hear your story. Yeah. Let's hear your story, Michael.
Okay, so I think I was a guest of Mick. I think I was hanging out with Mick maybe, and so after the show, Mick had never done anything like play like that he did that day with Tina Turner. He really hadn't done anything outside the Stones, I think. You know,
Probably. Yeah. 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 Yep.
that was the first time, and so he was very excited, like after the show, like really. And so my wife at the time and I rode back to the hotel with Mick, and he was just like, still on stage type of thing. I remember my wife like going in the bathroom and checking out what beauty products he used, you know what I mean? And I remember he had a stack of books. He's always a voracious reader. Um, and then I remember him talking to Jerry and Jerry Rice and saying like, "Yes, it was great, darling," and yes, I'm going to go to bed now. And then he would hang up and he says, "Let's go over to Tina's," So then we went over to Tina's hotel, and Tina Turner, I had met once before, but she didn't remember. She saw me and she said, "Do we know each other?" And I said, "Yes, we met in Africa." And I had been on a show there called Soul to Soul, where all these performers were, like Wilson Pickett and everybody like Mavis Staples, Roberta Flack, and we all
Wow.
flew over in one plane, right, all together. Um, and I remember that I was sitting in between Roberta and Mavis, and I was a big female vocalist fan. I had a great cassette of female vocalists, which they were both on. And Mavis later said, "Yeah, Mike Shree was sitting in between us like a Oreo cookie." And
All right.
anyway, so we went to Tina said, "Do I know you somewhere?" And I said, "Yeah, I know you from Soul to Soul. I met you in your hotel room when Ike brought me over there. Ike and I hit it off." And so I had seen Tina without her wig and this, that, and the other. And it was like, what the fuck in Africa, right? And it was like Mick was really pumped. And I remember Joan Baez came in the room, and then people were in the room and hanging out, and Joan left, and Mick said, "Okay, good night, Judy," and and she left, and I said, "Mick, that's Joan Baez, not Judy Collins."
Oh, no, no, Joe.
And he said, like, "Well, all those folk singers."
I knew it.
Oh, no. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
And I didn't play, but I was a hanger on backstage and stuff like that. It was great to be there.
That's great, man. Thank you for sharing that story. Yeah.
That's
Well,
Yeah,
perfect.
what good is it sitting inside myself?
Yeah,
I was
gotcha.
fired. I was fired by Judy Collins.
Were you really?
Joel Doran and Carly Simon's sister decided to make an album with Judy Collins, and Joel Dorn was producing it.
Yeah.
And I used to work for Carly Simon, so
Yeah.
her sister Lucy called and said, "Would you come in and play drums on this thing with Judy Collins?" I said, "Okay." Anyhow, I was at the power station in the 80s, and I she played this song, and it was all about these blizzards in Colorado and this night out and getting stuck in a car and blizzards and being stranded. And I, being the, tasteless jackass that I can be, decided I'd make some wisecrack. And I said, "Hey, Judy, that's a nice tune." I said, "All those references, man, to that blizzard." I said, "Is that like a metaphor for cocaine?"
Okay.
And I had no idea that she had had a coke problem,
Ah,
right?
Yeah.
And so she just looked at me and scowled, and then walked over to Joel Dorn. And the next thing I know, Joel Dorn came over to me and said, "Andy, come with me, please, into the control room." I said, he said, "Andy," he said, "look, do you mind leaving the section, please?"
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, Judy's not comfortable with you. Look, we'll pay you double scale, no problem. You'll be paid. Everything's straight ahead. But would you mind leaving? I said, "Hey, no problem, man. No problem."
Wow.
At least,
Man.
Andy, at least you didn't call her Joan Baez. I mean, she might have fired you for that.
Or she might have been mad if you called her Pete Seeger. So
Yeah. Oh man.
We should have a discussion about
thanks,
Pete.
Pete. I love you, Pete
Oh,
Seeger.
man. All right. Well, I'm going to play some more music. I'm going to play the local boy here, Dave Osikinen from
Yeah.
Hooters.
Oh boy.
You guys were, you guys were you'd been around for a while, but the record had just come out in '85.
Yeah, Nervous
Nervous Night?
Night was we had, I think, All You Zombies came out, and that was at AOR Radio back in that day. That started making some headway, and then And We Dance came out. So they asked us to play the two songs. And what happened was I just found out this before we left on this tour that Bill Graham was walking around the city, and some fan of the band said, "You should hire this band, the Hooters, to play the show." And then he saw Larry Maggot later that day, and he said, "There's this band called the Hooters." And next thing you know, we're playing the show. I think our management had something to do with it, but it was kind
Right.
of, the whole time we were asking ourselves, what are we doing here? But then the record did well, and I'm in Germany now, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
but it was an amazing thing to watch Mickey and Stan and all the great bands play, and I stayed the whole day. I had coffee with Eddie Kendricks and David Ruffin, and it was remarkable.
Surreal, man. Yeah.
Remarkable day.
Yeah. I'll bet, man. Well,
What
I
about Phil Collins playing in England and then going on Concord?
Unbelievable.
Uh,
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I saw
and then
him.
playing in
I saw him show
Philadelphia.
up. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
him show up that day.
That was
There was
wild.
this little tunnel everybody walked through, and he walked through, and I remember thinking, he just came off the Concord, but I saw him just playing in London. I think there were some TVs set up where we could see what was going
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
If you recall, right, we could see
Yeah.
what was going on, and it was remarkable. And for us, our socks were going up and down.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
Hey,
It's the same.
I saw some footage of Phil Collins recently. He looked very fragile.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
have you, like,
think
I
he
think
has
it was something
some-
with his son, but I almost didn't recognize him. He seemed very frail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hell of
I don't know
something
what's
very
going
good.
on, but
No.
Yeah.
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 God bless him,
Sure.
man.
Yeah. God bless him is right. Yep.
Bless him.
Phil's, yeah. So much a part of this event and just so important. But I'm gonna play the Hooters and We Danced from that day. And I apologize in advance. And David, I know you understand that the quality, unfortunately, that was available wasn't I think
Don't worry
maybe,
about it.
yeah, this came off of YouTube, and I think it was somebody recorded it maybe at home on their VCR and then put it up on YouTube. But it's great. I mean, you
Hey, I'm
guys,
just happy to be here. It's a great thing.
well, yeah, and you should be very proud because the band killed it and you killed it that day. And here it
Oh,
comes.
thank you. Thank you, John.
Well, I knew we'd have to leave the party soon as the band began to play out of tune. And we danced like a wave on the ocean romance. We were liars in love and we danced. So the wind was moving by our chest. Yeah, we danced and danced and danced. Yeah. And we danced. She's walking my way, and the music fade when she says, "Are we getting too close? Do we dare to get closer?" The room is spinning and she whispers my name, and we dance like a wave on the ocean romance. We were liars in love, and we dance. Such a wave for a moment by our chest. Yeah, we dance and dance and we dance like a wave on the ocean.
The Hooters in Philadelphia live.
Yeah,
Good
man.
job, David.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you,
David,
guys. Thank
killing
you.
it, buddy.
Nice. Nice.
Can I
Thank you.
ask,
Thank you.
could I ask David a question?
Sure.
Of course you can, Andy. Yes.
Of course.
Were you guys signed by a young guy at Columbia
Rick
who
Chertoff.
also signed Cyndi Lauper?
Yeah, Rick Chertoff. Yeah.
Rick Chertoff, right. There's
Yeah,
a connection. And did some of the
Right.
guys in your band write some of her hits
Rob wrote Time After Time.
and True Colors?
That was I forget the writer's name, but Rob has been a writing partner of hers for years. But Time After Time got that rolling from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Rick Chertoff, you guys,
Yeah.
and Cindy. I remember back then the connection. He was
Yeah.
he was hot up at Columbia for a while.
Yeah. And Rick was always great. He produced records for us, and he's still a friend. And, we listen to him. Obviously, we're still out on the road and making records. So, Rick is somebody we still confide in, and he had pretty good judgment back then, and we still trust him.
I gotta say,
thought
David.
I thought Cyndi Lauper was going to be what Madonna became. I
Yeah,
thought Cindy
yeah.
was the real superstar, the real
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah,
Great singer.
she's great.
Oh man.
Great.
Great writer, too. She's a terrific writer, great singer, great performer. And,
And Madonna
Still out
at the
there.
time seemed quite light compared to Cindy, who seemed like a heavyweight. And yet it turned out to be the reverse. Madonna went on to the stratosphere, and Cindy it just petered out a bit. But
Yeah.
I thought in the beginning she was the one.
Yeah. Well, she's still doing great. She's working on some Broadway stuff, and she's touring this year, and she's got a killer band. My friend Sterling is playing drums with her, and
Yeah.
Bill Whitman, and the performances are killer, and she's singing better than ever, which is she works at it harder than anybody I know. She's great.
What a voice.
She
man.
was killing it
standing out-
on
she's
that on
standing out.
Quincy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell her, Andy.
I just got to say, David, that holding the tempo the way you did for that song. I've watched that video a couple of times, just
Yeah.
getting ready for the show, and
Yeah.
the energy you must have been feeling and the excitement you must have been feeling that day. And you really kudos for
Yeah.
If it were me, I would have I'd have played it at twice the tempo just because I couldn't stop
Well, it's a
myself.
little faster. And we do another song, we do Zombies from that day, which is more of a cross stick kind of thing. And that
Yeah.
day, Bob Clearmountain was in the truck, and there's some recordings where he didn't realize that I was playing a cross stick, kind of like Andy does in Avalon and things like that. And it kept on triggering a snare drum. All you guys have done that kind of stuff. And he goes, "What the fuck is the drummer doing?" He realized I was playing a cross stick through the track, So, technology, learning how to use it, and and whatnot. But that was that changed our world completely, because after that we were seen in other parts of the world, and it changed our lives. It was a big thing for us.
Yeah, I'll bet.
May I ask Andy Newmark a question?
Yes, of course you may, Michael Shreve.
Okay, Andy Newmark. So, did you ever work with Sakamoto, Ryuichi Sakamoto?
No, no.
They lied to me. So, talk about being fired. I was fired by Sakamoto. I was hired for a 3-month tour, and went to Tokyo, and was in the maestro's presence. And there was these New York brothers that were in the band, and I was working on the tunes every night. They were going out, this and that, but somehow they convinced him that we need to get our boy in here and get rid of this drummer, right? And so I his right-hand man took me aside in the hotel upstairs, and he said, Sakamoto-san doesn't like your time. And I said, I'm okay, I don't know what to say. He said, no worry, Sakamoto-san has said the same thing to Omar Hakim and Andy Newmark.
No.
Sakamoto-san can hear when a drum machine is out of time.
Drum machine?
When he said,
really?
first he said the drum machine, then he mentioned Andy Newmark and Omar Hakim. He went through the same thing, so you shouldn't feel bad. And I said, well, right, you mentioned those names, I don't feel bad. So it was a 3-month tour, so I got fired, but I got paid for the 3 months, right? And which I thought was pretty cool. And so I get down the elevator, I go down the elevator, and I'm sitting there kind of like, this has only happened to me once before when I was a teenager. And I'm sitting there, and the elevator opens up, and Steve Gadd walks out.
Oh, no.
He's
No.
like, hey, Mike, how
Michael.
you? Yeah. And so I said, I just got fired. And I told him what happened. He said, fuck him. And great, I let it all go. And
Was he your replacement?
no, he wasn't. He was doing something else there. Yeah.
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 Oh,
And you
that's
found
cool.
out
Yeah.
you found out months later that Sakamoto had AFib.
Yeah.
It was his time that was fucked, not yours.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, I just want to tell you, Michael, I have been in that situation, been the wrong guy in the wrong room with the wrong people
Yeah.
more times than you can imagine. I mean, that has happened to me so many times where it just, the vibe was wrong, something was wrong, and oh man, I've been through that many, many times.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
We all have.
Yeah.
Join the club, man. It's
Yeah.
part of the
There
deal.
was a time when I was a
Yes.
teenager, and I was going to college, and I was playing in the big band, right? And then at night I was playing in funk groups, like a house band in East Palo Alto, which is called. I was the only white person like in the club, not just the band, right? We were backing up like Etta James and people like that. And so I had this little gig with a singer named Sugar Pie DeSantos, she had a local R&B hit, and it was just a little funky place. And I think I'd probably just come from big band, and I'm there. I walk backstage, and she's, having sex with some guy back there, and she was pissed that I walked in. And then we got on stage, and she counted off the first tune like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I swung it. I was like, I swung it.
You shuffled it.
I was like, it was supposed to be,
Yeah.
stopped the whole thing in front of everybody. She already didn't like me, right? And she stopped, turned around and looked at me, and she said, mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
I literally had to take my drums off the bandstand right then. You know,
Oh God.
You know where it usually starts for me in my experience? I'm in a room and all the other players are good friends and tight. And I'm the stranger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
like I'm trying to like bond with them and get to know them and whatever. And I'm feeling this wall. I'm feeling this wall. I'm thinking they want their boy here, whoever he is.
Yeah.
They want their mate
Whoa.
here, not me.
Yeah.
And I have been correct about that
Yeah.
so many times that you can feel that when
Yeah.
you're being blocked.
So it happens to
And
the
you know,
greats.
Yeah, and you know something?
Yeah.
It's better that I'm not there because they want their boy.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
you can't get around
Yeah.
that. You cannot beat those
Yeah.
politics.
It's really
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You bet off.
Right on. Well, guys, I'm going to keep things moving here, and I'm going to play some of our friend Jeff Simon, who's
Yeah.
Come on, Jeff.
who's
Local.
man, killing it absolutely with George
Yeah,
Thorogood
yeah.
and the Destroyers. And
Yeah.
I'm bringing it up
All
right
right.
now. And here we go. It's Who Do You Love? And he's got a guest guitar player with him that you might recognize. Speaking of Bo Diddley. This is killing it. This is so great.
Yeah.
And Jeff, you have not aged.
I'm gonna take a little walk with a people and tell who you love. Whoa! Who do you love? Who do you love?
Hey, George goes in.
Now we got some fans of MTV out there today. I'm gonna bring on stage a very good friend of mine. One of the baddest rock and rollers in the history of the world. Star of MTV. Big Dan O. Bo Diddley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Hey,
good.
Jan was subbing that day on bass, right? It
Yeah,
wasn't Blau. I noticed Jan was playing
we weren't
Nighthawk.
supposed to be there. Tears for Fears had to cancel. So
Ah,
Mr. Graham called us. We had 2 days notice. And so I was in California, and Billy, our bass player, Bill Blau, he was in Europe somewhere on vacation with his wife, and we had no way to get a hold of him.
right.
So
Wow.
when Mr. Graham called our booking agent at the time, Mike Kappas, about us coming to play, and then suggested, if you can find guests to do it with you, let's do that. So it worked out for Bo and also Albert Collins. And the bass player is Jan Zukowski from a band called the Nighthawks. They were
Yeah.
friends of ours for a real long time. So
Sure.
somehow it worked out. I think they were in upstate New York, and he had to drive, and we were playing in the morning. And then, so I think he had to drive and go do a gig later that day. So it was all last minute, and
So no rehearsal then, Jeff, right? I mean, these guys came in and just,
oh no,
just
no, no, no. We
no,
took a red
nothing.
eye. We took a red eye. George and I took a red eye in and went straight to the stadium and to play, and the whole event was just, it was felt like you were a part of something really making a difference, so it was important. But it's like you got there and go, okay, you have a trailer for dressing room 15 minutes prior and 15 minutes after, then you're out, right? And then a lady came in to sign the release forms, right? You have to sign a release form to be on. Well, Bo wouldn't sign a release form. I'm surprised you even have that, because they said, "Oh, wouldn't sign it. I'm signing nothing," and so and she goes, "I don't have time to just explain it to him. I got to go because I got to get everybody else right."
Yeah.
So I didn't think there was any video of Bo because of that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's on the it's a Live Aid authorized YouTube channel that I got it from. So
Okay.
maybe it's somewhere down the line he did, but
Well,
yeah.
maybe after he passed, maybe they went to somebody who, in his family or somebody and got permission.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how that works, but we're like, Bo, are you signing nothing? And we're like, wow, man, come on,
Oh, wow.
and
And
it was,
Jeff, that's that Chitlin circuit stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wilson
Yeah.
Pickett and all that. I remember at Woodstock, Sly Stone refused to go on until he was paid in cash.
Oh, yeah, of course.
yeah,
I've heard that story.
Yeah,
His
man.
peace and love, and everybody, oh yeah. And he's like, I ain't going on. It's like,
Give me my money.
I want the money in my pocket. Chuck Berry was like that.
Chuck Berry,
Right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Little Richard.
Yep.
That's
Little
yeah.
Richard,
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah.
So Jeff,
Give me
so
my
you,
money.
I was just going to ask Jeff. So you were playing a backline kit. Obviously, that wasn't your drum set.
That's
That was
correct. Yeah.
yeah.
No,
just
we didn't
it
have
was all
time
backline
to arrange
stuff.
anything, so I just played what was ever there.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
stage was fascinating because if I remember correct, and that's suspect, my memory is suspect, but the stage they had three deep on one side, and then three deep on the other side. And when the third band played, then that's when they would take the stage and revolve it
That's
around,
right.
and then
Yeah.
set the
Yeah.
next three up in the back.
Right.
That was fascinating. I had
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
seen a production like that.
Yeah.
We were obviously, what
It
we
was
did.
Bill
slick.
Graham,
Yeah. Watching it at home. I mean, it was again, 40 years ago. It was so seamless the way, it was a live show. And so, it wasn't like it was edited and it was only 10 minutes between acts. It was like, boom, there it was,
It was
pretty incredible. Yeah.
it was
know,
it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
One,
Yeah.
Hey, I'm
one
going
of
to
the
say goodbye,
things
guys.
I'm-
I got a show, and I want to thank you all for having me. Johnny, thanks for inviting me.
David, thank you for being here.
Monumental event that was, and meeting all you guys, and some of my old
Yeah.
pals.
Great to
Andy,
see you,
of course.
Dave.
Man,
David,
listen,
see you,
I'm
Dave.
20 minutes, so I'm out of here.
All right,
And,
Dave. Yeah. Have a great
thanks,
show, man.
guys.
Have a good
All
show.
right.
Fellas.
Hey, at least you're working, man. At least you're working. Don't
Exactly.
rub it in.
Get your money up front.
Right, no shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cash. Cash.
Burn,
All
Earn
right.
and earn, baby.
That's it. That's it. Wow. Well, that's great. I'm gonna move on to Mr. Grandler. We're gonna play some Santana right
Yes,
now.
please.
And
Yeah.
boy, there was lots to choose from. I think I guess everybody played. Graham, you said about a half hour each. But obviously,
I think so. It might have varied a bit from act to act, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
think we did about 4 songs. My wife's dug up some video a couple of days ago about it, and she found something, and we didn't think anything was out there for the longest time because Santana was not released on the DVD set or the CD that came out a few years
Right.
ago, and
interesting.
uh, and then I heard that that was contractual stuff. I don't know, it was for sure. But I mean, well, we did a fairly short set, and the fourth song was a total surprise because Pat Metheny, who I always appreciated and liked a lot, and heard some of his music, but not a ton of it before in the '80s. But he just Bill Graham said, "Well, we got a guest artist." I says, "Oh, Pat Metheny? Are you kidding me?" So that
Yeah,
was like, oh, we get there and find out that somebody else is sitting in with you. But that wasn't unusual for Carlos because he could do that with anybody at any time, and. So we went with it, and yeah, I saw some of that video. It was a little rough sound wise. I don't recall it sounding great on stage.
Mm.
But Santana, a lot of people up there, a lot of percussion. There was a lot going on. You had to rely on the monitors. And although what Jeff just said, that there were 3 acts on one side of the turning stage, there was still a lot of space up there, I thought, if I remember rightly. And it's like the farther you are away from instrument to instrument, the more you rely on your monitors.
Yeah.
And so I looked around and saw how the distances between us, and which were considerable, even in considering how much was up there. And I wasn't sure how it was going to go. And it was, I think it turned out well considering, but it's
yeah.
very unpredictable. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the way it is.
Well, I think I captured. I got one song. It's not the song with Pat Metheny, but where is it? It's Open Invitation.
Okay.
I have to admit, I was kind of going for tunes that showcased a lot of the drums and in your case percussion and so I think this
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
this is a great tune, and here it comes. Nice to see you all.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Graham, that's so
That
good.
was awesome, man.
Wow.
Feel
Well,
is so good, man. Those
Yeah.
little pushes, it
well,
just
thank you so much. I mean, it's
killing me.
interesting to
It's
see
so
that
good.
after 40 years, you forget even what you did, what the songs were. I don't even
So,
remember the set list,
so
and it's like the first part of that song was really another song,
Yeah.
part of an
yeah.
instrumental that we're just finishing up. And that had the more congas and the timbale solo. Raul Rico on congas on that one, and he'll be really very much missed. He died let's
Maybe
say
10
maybe
years
10
ago.
years ago now.
Yeah.
He's gone, and it's such a shame he died too soon.
Oh,
And then wonderful timbale solo there by Orestes Vilato, who's still living in the East Bay, and wow, he was so much fun to play with too. And
just crazy,
Armando
crazy
Peraza
man.
was also a second conguero on that, and he's been gone a long time now. But
Yeah.
Armando was so. It's interesting in the video that I saw a couple of days ago. Armando actually went forward at when they did an encore out front, and they took a bow in a row. I stayed back on the kit, and I played some little duet thing with Chester Thompson on keyboards while they took a bow in the front, and Armando went into like a Cuban style, dance, because that Armando, when he came from Cuba to New York in the early '50s, he was a dancer. And he played congas and dance, and he was an entertainer. So he would break into that every once in a while. So he did that at the end of that whole thing. I went, wow, there's Armando. There's Armando dancing,
That's so
salsa,
good.
dancing salsa in front of the band. But it
That's
was so
beautiful.
great. And then it's such a great rhythm section to play with, and it was so inspirational. And
Beautiful, man.
yeah, Open Invitation was a song we did on the Inner Secrets record
Yeah.
in 77 or 78. It came
Yeah.
out. Did that
So
at
good.
United Restaurant in Los Angeles, and with Lambert and Potter produced that record.
Wow.
Great. Yeah.
Dennis
Great
Dennis
tune.
Lambert was the producer, and yeah, so we expanded on it a bit and went into double time at the end, like Carlos loved to do.
So
And
good.
my whole thing with playing with that band was I was always constantly thinking about tempos and not getting it too crazy. And
Yeah.
a couple of times on a big outdoor shows, we got too excited and played stuff too fast. And my concern with that was let's just not freak out over the fact that there's that many people there and that many people watching virtually. Let's just try and keep it like on the down low a little bit, and because we could get carried away. And it
Yeah.
stayed there for the most part. And that's what I
Yeah.
Really
listen for
good.
every time.
So
And
good.
then I'll let myself say, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bravo,
Okay.
Graham.
Right.
Yeah.
If you know
Bravo.
what I mean. I'm sure we've all been through that when you hear yourself back live. I'm not a fan of hearing myself back live. It's
Ooh.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I
It's
know
really
that
great.
feeling.
Really
You
great,
guys,
Graham.
you guys are all great drummers. You should hear what I sound like when I hear myself live. It's yeah, not a happy moment. But
John, I gotta go.
okay,
I,
Andy, I know we thank you for staying
Andy.
so long with us, Andy.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you.
too. Me too.
And,
I've got to go
Steve,
pick the
thank you.
kids up.
Yeah, thank you
Okay,
guys
yeah,
so
Steve.
much, so much for
you.
being here.
it's
What-
dinner time. I'll
Yeah.
just give you one little tidbit of trivia. I live in a village in Kent called Faversham.
Yeah.
Geldorf lives here.
Oh, no
Oh,
kidding.
wow.
Ah, we could have got
Okay.
him on the show.
really.
And in 20 years of him and I've been living in this village and him, I have never run into him once. I don't know the guy.
Wow.
But people, maybe it's just people talking shit. I don't know. But everybody likes to go, oh, yeah, Bob. I saw him yesterday in the supermarket. And oh, yeah, I saw Bob down at the antique store. Oh, yeah, Bob's, uncle's mother's sister's aunt is a friend of my stepson's aunt-in-law. Everybody here fucking knows Bob.
Yeah.
Anyhow, typical small town shit, right?
Yeah.
But I've never met the guy, but
That's funny.
he lives in the village, coincidentally.
Andy,
But,
thank you so much for being here today. I know it's late there, and I know you have dogs to walk, but I do want to say that I'm guessing people tell Bob Geldof that Andy Newmark lives in the
That's
village.
right. Exactly right.
You know that's happening. They're going, Andy
Well,
lives
listen,
here. He walks his
let me-
dog.
But I'm only about 20 minutes from Faversham myself, so I think me and Andy are going to go to the pub.
wow,
There
you
you
should
go.
come out.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, love to all. Love to all. Thank you.
Steve, thank
So
you.
many
Love
great
to you too.
drummers
Take care,
and heroes.
Steve.
And so thank
Yeah.
you all for the
Big
music,
fan,
guys.
man.
Thank
Steve,
you. Take
thank
care.
you.
Lots of
Love to
love.
everybody.
Great job,
Love
Steve.
you
Hi, Andy.
all.
Our pleasure.
Take care.
Bye
Okay.
bye.
Little, little Steve
Bye-bye.
White. Great to see you.
Yeah.
Thank
Take
you.
care,
Cheers,
Steve.
Steve.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
See you,
All the
Steve.
best.
Listen
Well,
to me.
we got to wrap it up. We got to play Tris Footloose
Yes.
Yeah, come on. I
On-
gotta
Definitely.
come on. I
On-
gotta watch that. Come
on,
on.
Okay.
on Stan's drums, no less.
Okay.
And here it is. And this, and Tris, I just got to say, I didn't realize this was the only song you guys played that day.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Wow.
It's too bad you didn't play a hit that everybody
Yeah,
knew.
really.
You know, like the people. Here we go. Here's Footloose.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Those
Really
are
great.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
Tris.
You caught me by
It's like
surprise.
Kevin Bacon. I just seen Kevin Bacon and listening to that.
Chris, I love how loud the Simmons drums were so out front, man. They were so in the mix, man.
Were those Sin drums?
Yeah, Simmons.
Simmons pad.
Simmons
Okay.
5. Yeah.
SDS 5, yeah.
Wow. So good,
Okay,
man.
I had on my snare drum, which is why I brought it from Houston.
Yeah.
They had a May microphone in there that was infinitely better than trying to put something on the head
Right.
to trigger. So the snare was triggering to the Simmons 5.
It's
I could
so
hear
good,
that, yeah,
Tris.
and that was pretty revolutionary in 1985 to do that effectively. You know what I mean? That was like hot shit to be able to do that.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
we tried all kinds of other ways of triggering, and that ended up being the easiest and simplest solution. We
Yeah.
were so we discovered it.
Tris, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Just because it's I didn't realize that we shared a kit that day. I didn't even put that together. Like, did you just? I mean, how did that work? Because I mean, I don't even know if I can play another Cat's kit. You know what I mean? Like, did you just feel like, was it horrifying or was it okay?
Well, yeah, well, it was all horrifying, of course.
Right.
But that we had the luxury because of the way somebody brought up that there were like 3 deep setups, on the
Yeah.
revolving stage, so I could kind of tweak with my tech, and I had time to kind of imagine playing anyway.
Yeah.
And error playing. And so no, it was okay. I was pretty comfortable, except if I remember, you use a large bass drum. It was a 24, I thought.
I don't know that. I don't know. I think that was still a 22. I think
Yeah.
but I'm just amazed that you could like sit down and just do your thing. Like,
Oh,
it's like making out with another guy's girlfriend. It's like the hands
Hey,
are
wait a
involved.
minute.
Oh,
Hey, wait a minute.
oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes
like
it
a-
works.
It's a road
I'm
kit.
telling you, it works.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Oh man, it was adrenaline, a delicate blend of fear and adrenaline.
Did you guys play? Did you play after us, or do you remember before or after? Who
I
knows?
don't remember.
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
think it was before, because I remember walking through your dressing room or Tom
Right.
was in there
Yeah.
and was warming up. So I think we played before. I think, but then again,
Right.
I was sort of
Did we
left
cross
behind.
paths? I mean, because I've known you. I've known well, all you guys. I've known of you, but
Yeah.
seems like you and I we were just like one airport away, like all the time.
Always, just like, I know.
Yeah, there was always a crew guy going like, Tris, right? And I'm like going, yeah, kind of. He goes, oh man, he just says like, say hello, or this is Tris I have, or it'd be like, it would always be like, oh wow, cool. Like I feel like I've worn your underwear a couple times somehow.
Well,
Speaking
hey,
of girlfriends, you
that's
played
right.
with,
Yeah, right, yeah.
my favorite bass player in the world. I know you were working together with George Hawkins for a long time. So
Guys,
Oh,
I
man.
can't tell you how much respect, and I mean that. so much respect I have for all of you, for your ability to just transform and work with all these different mega artists. And you've been so consistently good for so long. And it's just a beautiful thing to sit and listen to you guys reminisce. And I really I don't take this lightly. And
Oh,
I thank
Stan,
John for keeping
Stan.
us all together. And but yeah, you guys you're beautiful cats, man, and you've made a real difference. Your grooves have slayed, and they will continue to do so, man. So it's like, hey, I'm honored to be in the club. I really
Thank you,
Yeah,
Stan.
no.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Stan. That's really
I'm
nice,
a
man. Same.
Good to meet
Stan.
you, Stan.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I,
all you
I gotta
guys.
sign off.
May I make a
Great to meet you.
shameless plug? I
All right.
want to turn you onto a video podcast I have on YouTube, and it's called Stick People, and it's me and Lenny White and
Oh,
Mike Clark and David Garibaldi and Greg Rico.
Oh,
And
great.
Oh,
I know.
And we've done like Dennis Chambers,
I saw that one.
Jack DeJohnette, Nate Smith, Ron
wow.
Carter, Peter Erskine, Larry Graham. Anyway, a bunch of people like that, and of course, a lot of drummers. But check it out.
Yeah,
And then
Michael,
thanks. Yes.
James
Put-
plug number two, my album of last year called Drums of Compassion. You can get it on Spotify or something,
Cool.
but it's like a meditation record with drums. You know, it's like
Oh,
I've
that's
got
cool.
I've got
Nice, man.
Olatunji on there, Jack DeJohnette, Ayrto, and I'm playing 16 toms set up in a semicircle. So
Oh,
Oh,
man.
cool.
not like backbeats, but it's more like a
Oh,
meditation
wow.
record.
John, can
Yeah.
you get me hooked up with that? Can you make sure I find all that?
absolutely. I'll get all that to you guys, and I'll put all these links in the show notes too. So
Perfect.
yeah,
Great.
so everybody has all this stuff. Yeah,
All
guys,
right,
I want to
guys.
thank you guys, all you guys, for being here today. One more time, Mickey Curry, Graham Lear, Jeff Simon, Stan Lynch, the secret square in the middle, Michael Shreve, my buddy Tristan Bowden. Thanks to Andy Newmark and Dave Osikinen, who had to leave us a little bit early.
Thank
Yeah,
you, John.
and also,
guys.
Steve White also. Sorry, don't let me forget to mention Steve White for being here too. So thanks, everybody.
It was
Thank
a
you,
great,
guys.
it was a great honor for me.
You guys
Thank you,
are the
guys.
best, man. Thank you.
Yeah, love you guys.
My
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you, John.
Thank you, guys. All right, that's my show. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, leave me a comment, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also download the podcast on all podcast platforms. And I'm excited to tell you that Live from My Drum Room has been ranked #1 best drum podcast for the second straight year. So thank you all for your support. I really appreciate it. And I want to invite you to check out livefrommydrumroom.com, my website, for upcoming shows and also for information on ordering Live from My Drum Room merchandise, t-shirts and hoodies. 100% of the proceeds go toward a scholarship I've created with the Percussive Arts Society. There's also information on ordering merchandise in the show notes, and you can email or text me at livefrommydrumroom@gmail.com. So remember, no drummers are harmed on any show, and drummers, when in doubt, leave it out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you again real soon.